It's on. Um, Hope everyone's doing well or done well this weekend once again. Um, we're here. I hope everyone enjoyed presentation by Springer Sheik Brazil. I will say that the brother never assists. He never. What's the word I'm looking? He never ceases to amaze me when he presents. Um, then with a brother who's actually he's definitely has a keen insight for the information. Um, you're talking about somebody who um, prior never really sat in the temple, and officially, this is the only temple he's been a part of, just like myself. I mean, well, I was with the Moorish Holy, but that wasn't really a structured group. And then I was also prior. I tried to seek membership with Azim Hopkins Bay, Temple 11 in Philly. But I was used to going to temple settings. I've been to a couple temples before, so I kind of know how it seems to be ran. Um, but never really sat under guidance of the temple and any leadership, prior. Really, I mean, Moorish Holy would be considered, but talking about officially, who delves into the information in-depthly, on the in-depth level. When I got involved with, Prophet's Temple here, you know, I, my first instructor delved deep into the lessons, and it got me so hooked because I never had anybody explain certain things the way he did, and I was just like blown away. I was blown away. And because, like I said, I come in from like the Moorish Holy at the time with, brother, Dr. Alim El Bay. And, you know, he goes in, he'll go in on stuff, deep on a lot of topics, but never really deep on the prophet's information and unfolding it, like unfolding the meanings of it. He'll relate it to something like, oh, it's like, there's circle seven chakras, seven planets, seven this. You know what I'm saying? He'll do all that. And it's like, but it's cool. But at the same time, it doesn't give you the actual meaning and understand the actual unfoldment, like what what is being taught, what is being shared. You know, um, So when I came here, Brother Shallow, he expounded on a lot of stuff, and I believe Keith got the same tutelage a little bit, and for the most part, when I met, Keith Springer, Keith Dandrizil, I met him. He was very uh, logical in his thinking. I didn't see a spiritual portion to his where he's at, at the time. And then when he took on when Bailey Hill basically passed him the mantle in 2019, at that time, man, I saw growth like crazy, like spiritually open about stuff. And I approached him, and I said, Mo, I said, bro, you grown, bro. Like I see you changed, like for the better. And I'm saying I'm not talking bad. I'm saying you changed for the better. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's okay. And I thought it was a beautiful thing, you know, to see somebody grow. And I'm talking about like who has a more open understanding of certain. So, I'll give honest to the brother. Um, he's not perfect. Believe that. He's not perfect, but I did see growth, and I don't know if anybody else seen it. I've seen it. And me and him came in it around the same time. I think he came like a year before me. So I came a year after him. And he found Bailey Hill on his own. I forgot how he found, me, I was pointed in the direction of him through somebody from the Moorish Holy, actually. And then, whatnot. But for the most part, you know, it's a good thing that out of all, I could say this, out of all the grand bodies that exist, these different administrative bodies, we have the youngest Grand Sheik and Chairman, Supreme Grand Sheik. Everybody else is old. Everybody, they in their 60s, 70s, they old. And they trying to keep it. And it's just like, come on, man. It's all right. You can sit down now. It's cool. You can take a load off. You did a good job. A lot of people they don't even want to acknowledge Keith, what I'm saying, because of his youthfulness. And it's not like he's 20 or 30. I mean, the man is 42. Well, he's going on 42. But I think his maturity level is because he's the head of the household and he has 5 daughters. You know what I'm saying? He's raising with his wife. That matures you. You know what I'm saying? You don't stay a child, with those type of responsibilities. You know what I mean? So Allah is merciful. Well, to answer your question, brother Abdullah, it was no formal what's the word, ceremony. It was what happened was that we were all in a meeting session. I actually have a videotape if I can find it. It's somewhere. And he just added his words. He told them to accept, Brother Dan Giselle as your Supreme Grand Sheik. And he's passing it down. So there is a legal procedure that went down, but I'm not privy to talk about that right now. But I think so. I don't know, Solo. Did I give you? Yeah, you can't talk right now. Type yes or no. Did I give you the? Did I show you the affidavit? The specific affidavit with Dan Giselle on it. All right, cool. All right. I got you next time we meet up. Okay, I got you for your records. And then on the 23rd, Moors, I'll let y'all peep it. Okay, I'll let y'all peep it. I'll let y'all look at it. All right, so you'll know what you're dealing with, and you won't find anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Who got this specific document? I'm gonna say that. So ain't nobody else got it. I'm gonna say this. Think about. I always tell people, um, if you watch the first Batman, and when a lot of people don't understand, like sometimes you gotta apply certain laws and procedures for particular things, entities. I'm saying if you're dealing with a corporation, You gotta think about corporate laws, how to do things. You know what I'm saying? And certain procedures in corporate laws, apply, you know, for the records, for the books. That's all. You know what I'm saying? And that's very key important that people realize that. It saves a lot of arguments, people from arguing and stuff like that. A lot of things are just common sense, you know. But yeah, brother Ibrahim, that's how it was. It was really former son, and then what it is that he made it known from the body at the time. Nobody opposed the appointment. Right then somebody could have opposed it. Nobody opposed it. All the governors, basically all the temple heads was there. The mission heads were there. I was there. Douglas L was there. Wilcox Bay, who was governor of California at the time. Brother Molden Bay was there. He was there. Um, um, Blackshear Bay was there. Who else? Temple 19 was there. Temple 1 was there at the time when they were up and functional. We was there, Temple 19. Kentucky was, there. What was it? Mission 27? What was it? Mission 30? No. What's Kentucky? Mission 26, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. But everybody was there. Basically, all the key representatives are there. Adepts are there. Temple 8 was there. Yeah. From Florida, they were there. So people had the chance to see it. And you had a chance to oppose it. If you oppose it, then we'll have a discussion and so forth. Say, but nobody opposed it, Mo. Nobody opposed it. Everybody was there. Everybody accepted it. It was in the books. You know what I'm saying? It was in the books. So Solo was there. He was there when it happened. I think either he was outside or he was Solo. Were you outside or were you there when Belial basically handed it over the key? Islamo, you could type if you can't talk. you, can, you can send a message in the bottom. I know Solo was there physically though. I don't know if he was because Nordine and them had everybody perform security duty. Yeah, that's what we need, Mo. More is we need more brothers and sisters who are willing to do security. Be be on standby and willing to dedicate themselves to that. So did I give brother brother Rich? Might not have gave brother Rich the link. Let's see. Brother Rich, brother Rich, brother Rich. Yeah, man. So, brother. It's on, but yeah, that even speaking on Belial, definitely what he offered to us was a sense of tradition, a sense of groundedness, you know, um, Um, you know, it really gave us, you know, an insight on the history, because he's a missing link. You know, Balial's a missing link because what he has puts a lot of things together. And to be honest, the elder made a lot of people nervous because of what he offered of truth about Emilio, you know, and who Emilio was. It put to rest a lot of the argument, you know, to the point where some people who never recognized and honored Emilio before now are starting to honor Emilio and slowly changing up the game, calling themselves Supreme Grand Sheik. They don't even know the functionality of that position. They don't, because if you don't got a Supreme Grand Council, you can't be Supreme Grand Sheik. You could be Grand Sheik and Chairman. You always had that. Act one. That's a micro and a macro demonstration. But it's on a macro scale. That's why it says the Grand Sheik and Chairman is empowered to make law and enforce law. That's not two positions. That's one position. Because if it was two positions, it would say the Grand Sheik and Chairman are empowered to make law. It says M is empowered to make law. It's in the power to make law and enforce law. What is that? What function is that? That's executive and legislative. Islam? That's executive and legislative. With the senses of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish science of America. How are they possessors? Prophet gave the laws. So the prophet being the law, he assists by being the measurement and what the laws come for. The grand body assists because they approve the laws, they accept. Grand body can say, oh, wait a minute, hold on. This is a little harsh here, Grand Sheik. Might need to talk about this. So Grand Sheik got to go to the prophet and say, okay, he said it's hard. You know, what should I do? Prophet said, you know, you line it up with the laws. Now the prophet's not here in the flesh. Islam, he's not in the flesh anymore. So what stands in the prophet's place? It's the Supreme Grand Council. It's to function with the same authority as the prophet. This is government. This is what the prophet left. He left us a skeleton. He left the pillars for us to pull the boat. Really? I don't know what that's about, Mo. Check is your internet connect solo? See if you're I don't know if you got your Wi-Fi on or something like that. That could be an issue. I think a lot of people getting kicked off or dropping. Some people having a hard time getting in. I don't know what that is. All right, so you have the Supreme Grand Council with the same ability as the Prophet. Okay. Supreme Grand Council stands just as the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Puts a judge on matters. Puts a line up with the law. Even now, like I praise Allah for, you know, Brother El Devon Bay, even though I know I get on his nerves a lot. But that brother has a good eye. And I know he ain't go to college. Oh, I don't know. He might have took a couple courses. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just know him as being the fourth disciple. You know what I'm saying? A killer army of the Wu-Tang. I just know him for doing that. I don't know what else he's doing, but his clerical skills is on point as far as like him knowing how to type stuff, write footnotes, get documents done. I don't know where he learned that mess from. Matter of fact, one day I'm gonna ask him. But the way he draws out certain things, and he has a vision and he has an eye for certain things, it's so keen. And him and Keith, a lot of times they complement each other the way they see things. And then, you know what I'm saying, that helps me. You know, when I see them on it, I get on it too. And we work together. And when we pull out certain laws and certain things, we begin to question certain things, and then we start to add on. We begin to develop, like I know Divine has developed these particular codes, Morse codes. And the codes go along with the Divine Constitution Bible. So the laws, extensive laws that are drawn based off of the Divine Constitution bylaws and other writings within the Moorish Science of America. This is going to be the basis. Gerald Woodburn. This is going to be, that's going to be a basis developing a body of laws. So in the future, like when we go on internationally, and they're asking us if we have a codex about it, we're show them like, yo, we got a whole codex of laws that we developed. You know what I'm saying? We want to have a whole codex of laws that we developed. What constitutes conduct? What constitutes this, that, and the other? What rules are we put together for how to submit a law, get it approved? Certain, you know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna have, you know, and there's a lot more to add on. But this is how governments work. And everybody on the council was like government. That means our mindset is built, is fixed on maintaining a government standard. Like, you know, we're a government. We're more than just an organization. We're a government. Because eventually it's going to be so concrete. You know, it's a reality now to a level of degree, but it's going to be the point where it's going to be essential. Essential, but central in the sense where it is going to govern how you do. Just like the laws of New Jersey or, you know, wherever some of you guys may reside at or domicile at, that's where these codexes and these laws are being developed by the Supreme Grand Council, you know, is going to actually be put forth. And it's going to apply the same way one day. You know, that's why when you sign up and you become a member and you get that Ali number, that's not just some funky flashy little numbers on there, man. Those numbers are actually going to be something. They're going to actually apply on a whole deeper level. Just not right now. Right now, it's just for your membership to keep track of you as a member. Okay. But when we start to get properties and land, and you trying to get access to some of them stuff, you're going to need that Ali code, the Ali number. You ain't got that Ali number? Oh, I'm with Grand Sheik so-and-so. Who? Oh, yeah, I'm with Grand Sheik. Under the okay. I don't mean that. Where's your Ali number? Huh? Yeah. Where's that at? You ain't got no Ali. I can't help. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want a visitation though? Give you visitation, as a guest. Get a guest code. You get the guest code. But I can't help. Because every government tightens up. But no, Moors can't expect to be a government or have a government with such loose expectations. Everybody talking about they want to become the want us to, when we gonna do this, when we gonna be a nation, then we want to rise and this, that, we all got to come together. Not really. Not when you want to be, when it's time to really nation build. Those who lollygagging and being around, that doesn't include them. Unfortunately. That doesn't include them. They can't, they can't join in because they are not serious. You got hangs up, some type of hang up about the divisions and all that stuff that went down. Oh well. Truth is the truth. You want to go with who you feel that you've been with? Go ahead. It's not, nation building is tight. It takes a tight shift. Not everybody can do it. People want personalities. They don't want to work. That's the problem. A lot of people want personality instead of work. I realized this, that I realized this, that this movement was never supposed to unfold. When I mean unfold, come into its own or come into its completeness during the time of the prophet. I'm looking at what he set up. I'm looking at the time and era, and yeah, it was too early. It was ahead of its time. And the prophet was right. He said, I didn't come from you. I come from the young and the yet unborn. For the young and the unborn. I ain't come from you. I come from the third and fourth generations. He said third and fourth generation. So 2 statements indicates that this situation that we call the Moorish Science of America, this organization, this movement, the Moorish Divine National Movement, was supposed to unfold in the future. It was never supposed to unfold at the time of the prophet when he was here in the flesh. Because if you look at the situation, it's more appropriate that it unfolded now. Back then, you had Rosewood, you had Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. You had a whole bunch of places being burnt up, bombed, flooded. How many towns that Asiatic people had that got destroyed by the Europeans? that would have happened to us, probably. It would have been more sufficient, more appropriate for this time and era. We got iPhones and smartphones. We got cameras now. Everybody got a camera. You ain't gonna get away with bombing somebody's town or whatever like that without it catching some type of footage. You know, so it's more appropriate now to happen because the times are more favorable for something like that to happen. And I'm gonna say this, some of our people are not willing to come along. Some of our people are not willing to come. We just gotta accept it. So, my little spill is long. Oh, I know the brother Ya's not even on here. Is he? Yaya. See, yeah, sure. I think I know. So,
Islam. Grand Sheikh, come on.
Oh, you is? That's you with the iPhone.
Yeah, it's me, the iPhone.
Oh, my bad. All right, praise Allah. Okay. I know you mentioned about the soul, and I think it was appropriate to talk about it because of the situation that's going on nationally. I want to shift gears. And first, let me give my salutations, my gratitudes, my praises to Allah for continuing to guide us all, sustainer, creator, causes cause, a rootless root. I want to give honors to all the prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. Give them high honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, our founder, our prophet sent to us here on these shores to give us a message of self-salvation, I would say, and a message of nationality. I want to give honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Give honors to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Give honors to the Moorish Divine National Movement. Give honors to all the Grand Sheiks, past and present. Our present Supreme Grand Sheik, Keith Dangerzil. Give special honors to the one that preceded him, David Balliol. This being his heavenly natal day or Side's birthday. I get honors to each and every one of you guys here on this call. The reason I want to say this about the soul is that we're dealing with a situation where Roe versus Wade was overturned. This is a hot topic. There's plenty of stipulations, things regarding abortion. And when it comes to, that topic, a lot of people say they want science instead of religion. Deal with the science, deal with the facts. Leave religion out. Some say, we're not protecting the women, we're protecting their rights. And that's these are words I consider emotional based and not really well thought of when you say things like you're protecting the women. Because a lot of the procedures done when it comes to abortion are not always safe for the women. Some women who have abortions risk the chance of not being able to bear a child again. You know, some, I'm not saying all. You know, especially our women, our women are put in situations where they're encouraged to get abortion, but also get the uterus removed. You know, people, don't understand the diabolical tactics of Planned Parenthood against our people. And that abortions and these particular methods are rooted in the process of eugenics. You know, we're talking about modern day abortions. Now, abortions have always been around, even since the time of Egypt and Kemet. But, I don't think they were grabbing full babies, I think they were doing it at a time during pregnancy where it was not necessarily damaging. And one thing about the people from Kemet, they had an understanding of both sides, the physical and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen. So they knew and could tell at a point when the soul may have incarnated into the body of the baby or the soon-be baby. So they knew when the abortion could be done. That's tricky. See, this becomes a problem when you deal with a secular government. A secular government doesn't believe in the soul. Secular science doesn't believe in the soul. The soul doesn't exist. According to secular science, man doesn't have a soul. So of course you can crush the baby third trimester. According to secular science, that's what they want to happen. If you're dealing with spiritual science and you're dealing with the idea of a soul, you're not even going to take that chance, going that far into the pregnancy. Going that far into the pregnancy. So the question comes in about the soul. How important is it? When I left the post about Bailey Hill and it being his birthday, and I left that video and he was talking about the soul, and he said that, the soul has many faculties. And he said the soul, when you read about the soul, or you read any scripture or any verse, the level that you're supposed to read it from is from the eyes of the soul. Because it's it's a literary. You're cognitively aware of what you're reading. But there's another level to it. When you look at certain verses, Sister Sophia and Sister Shekinah, they wake up and dedicate each morning to read. But I guarantee you, after a while, when they become more in there, and we're talking about two very, very attuned sisters, they're going to read those verses, and those verses are going to unfold differently. Words are going to jump out at them that they haven't jumped out before. And I'm telling you from experience, where you're actually, the soul is actually leading you to how to deeper levels of interpretation of certain things. And you be sometimes you just, and sometimes, you know what, don't even read it, right? And just go off and think about what you read. Ponder it every now and then. And then it begins to unfold. Why? Because now you're allowing the words to digest. We're talking about the Moorish Holy Quran. Let me be clear. And I'm not just talking about, it could be even the Quran of Mecca or the Bible. You know, when you read these particular spiritual scriptures, you know, you're not supposed to just read through them. You're supposed to ponder them and allow them, not think hard, but ponder. When I say, I'm not, you know, don't, you know, think hard on it. Just let it wander in your mind. Let it wander in your mind about what you read. And then it begins to unfold. Maybe not then, but later you'll think about it. Like, oh, wait a minute. Yo, something just came to mind. Let me go back in that verse and read that again. Oh, wow. Okay. You know, you know, there's so many things where when you need something or you need an answer or possibly something to guide you through a situation, you know, a lot of times the soul will know what you need. When we had derived the Supreme Grand Rulings and on the vaccination, and you know, I can tell you this, before, a year or two before, I was trying to help a brother find verses to address the vaccination, you know, and I couldn't really find anything. And I'm talking about out of the Moorish Holy Quran. And then it wasn't until this whole pandemic where, okay, it comes up again on a massive scale as far as that, and now it seemed like I was being led to the right verses. And I started sharing it with SGS. And, you know, of course, he already had his, you know, picked out, whatever, which is good, you know. But, you know, I had, you know, because that's why I give a separate affidavit. I got the Supreme Grand Rulings affidavit from Moorish Science of America. But for those who are not members, I have my own separate affidavit. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to let, if someone desires not to, look, I'm going to help you. You know, I'm going to help. You know, I'm not going to, you know, leave you out. I mean, I had to write one for my cousin. And no, Lord knows they Christian. I mean, she's open up, you know, she's open to some things. You know, praise Allah. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, I have it. You know, I kind of teased her one. I was like, man, you know, don't as the pastor is a friend of the family. I said, don't Dr. So-and-so got it? And she said, nah, she ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? You know, nah, she ain't got it. I knew Pastor So-and-so ain't got it. I just, you know, I just I just want to hear her say she ain't had it. I was like, hey, you know, Pastor also actual doctor. She actual pediatrician, so she ain't gonna tell you not to get it. She gonna tell you to get it. So, but you know, she a pastor. So how you work that out? You know what I'm saying? But then some people ain't for it. Some people is, you know, on the in the Christian community. You know, so same thing in Islam. You know, some people for it, some people against it. You know, but I have it on deck. You know what I'm saying? Got it in the clip. You know what I mean? And shoot, it got some people, it definitely helps a lot of people out, you know? And then we got the Supreme Grand Council rulings. That's even more power on it. It's heavy, you know? But you gotta be a member to get that one. I don't just hand that one. You know what I mean? I said that one's for the members, but I got one for you if you're not a member. And I just put down that you're just seeking my counsel, my spiritual counsel. You know what I'm saying? So, alhamdulillah. But the soul, in a sense, man, it leads you. Just like it led us to get the Supreme Grand Council and get the particular scriptures and verses in place on those documents. So, that's how it is. Oh, you need one of those, Mo? All right, I got you. Yeah, I got you. So speaking of the soul, we're going to chapter 38 is on the soul. And we're going to actually touch on that, inshallah. Holy instructions from the prophet, the soul of man. Right. Verse 1. The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of this is health. What is health to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. Hope y'all get that. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. Word even. When something's even, that means it's balanced. So the way the health is, your true health. Now, some people will say, okay, well, that means that one part, that one sentence there, this is verse 1. If you get your Most Holy Qurans, and you look, let me see if I can pull up demonstration for y'all. Because I know I want y'all to actually look at the thing that I'm actually displaying, so we can get on the same page with the thing. Can y'all see the screen? Oh, yeah. Okay, it's I'm gonna do this. Holy cool. What LOC. Let me go back out. See. There you go. Almost there. Okay. There you go. We're here. A little too far. Let's blow it up a little bit. All right. This is what I'm looking at right here, where it says, what health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. Now, we can look at this two ways. You can look at it as the relationship between the body, health and body, and honesty to soul, right? Which just says health is to the body, honesty to the soul, right? Works the way. So the way the health works is important for the body, honesty is that to the soul, right? But you also can look at it as the value is even. What do I mean by that? Is that your health to your body, actually, what it means to have health to your body, you need honesty to your soul. Islam, I'm gonna say it again. To really have health to your body, you need to apply honesty to yourself. You need to be honest. You need sincerity. Your soul needs that, right? But the outer effect is the health to your body. To have really true good health is really, it starts with the honesty to the soul. People who have bad health conditions and problems suffer because they have so much dishonest in themselves. They're not sincere. They're holding on to stuff. They're hiding stuff. They're protecting secrets. When people have heart attacks, hold on. And you know right now, you're like, you're not stressing outward. You're not stressing on the forefront, right? On the surface, you don't seem stressing. You good. You chilling. You having a good time. But deep inside, you buried that stress. You buried those issues. They still there. You haven't dealt with them. You ain't honest. You laughing. You singing your favorite song. You doing your little dance on TikTok. You having a good time. But those are all surface things. And deep inside, there's an issue that you haven't dealt with. It's deep inside the issues that we haven't dealt with. It's put us all together because it's not just anyone's to say. I'm just talking in general. It's issues that we all didn't deal with. And your body takes a toll afterward. So you can look at these two things as relatively separate, as far as in comparison, but you also can look at them, at these two things as running together, as essential for one is essential for the other. So the honesty to the soul is essential for the health for the body. Islam. See, this is how these things unfold. When you read, I read, and I had to look at this, I had to look at this particular chapter. There's another chapter I'm actually reading on my personal life that's in this, chapter on misery and trying to get certain things. But now I can see my screen. I've been on here last 10 minutes. It's long. Praise Allah. So we're here, and I'm showing you, if you look, you follow the cursor, it says, what health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. Even. It evens out, but honestly, you can look at this as running together, because I'm telling you, it's prevalent. People in our community suffer from heart disease and all because we hide too much secrets. We smile upon the pain. We mask over the drama. We make excuses for everything. We don't want to deal with the drama. We just want to love everybody. Oh, it's not an issue. It's always we want to look for better things. And, this it's all right. Don't want to give it too much attention, Mo. Just let it go. Oh, that's old hatred, ancient hatred. Leave it alone. You can't leave it alone. Can't leave it alone. You got to deal with it. People making decisions now in their lives. People are living in conditions now in their life because of old stuff that has happened. The soul knows that stuff. Some of our children are living lives based off of what was passed down to them through our traumatic experiences. And I'm not talking about, you can have moved a long way from that, but it might have trickled down. People talk generation curses, that's real. Generational, that's real. Because that's why a lot of our people in the situation that is now because of generational curses and stuff like that. The Prophet came, Noble Drew Ali came to break the generational curses and put you on another cycle. He put you on another vibration, another cycle. Okay, we're trying to change it. We want to break the chains of slavery? Okay, let's not call ourselves slaves. Now you're speaking a higher vibrational tone when you're calling yourself more of a noble title, Amor. I'm not a Black American. I'm not a slave American. I'm a Moorish American. That's a noble American. That's an American with more of a nobler stature to status. Islam, that changes the soul, man. And I'm still stuck on verse 1. I'm sorry. We go to verse 2. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, that most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it, seek not to know it perfect. It is inscrutable. It is inscrutable. That means you can never know it perfect. Can't know the soul perfect. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, call not these the soul. They are in actions, but they are not its essence. Let me share something with you guys. Islam, if I may. Go again. 5. Inner senses. Okay. because it relates to the soul. And the soul is what gives off these senses that we have. Okay. So you have what you call the 5 inner senses. When they say I'm gonna exercise my 5, this is what it means. You're gonna exercise common sense, which combines the forms and receives the 5 external senses. Common sense is derived, common sense is when the soul utilizes your 5 senses, because it deals with, what you're able to understand from what's around, right? You got your imagination, right? Keeps things, forms stored. Imaginative power combines and separates forms and kept the imagination. 4, estimative power, judges receive salient with interest. Sheep that apprehends, that perceive the wolf as something it should flee from. Okay. And then the memory. These are your inner, these are the things that Avicenna, other Sufis have mentioned, but these also come from Africa. Different African societies, they know about the 5 inner senses. Okay. We'll definitely explore these in the future, but I wanted to say that because in this verse where it talks about thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing, these kind of are similar to the 5 inner senses, right? And it said, call not these the soul. They're not the soul, they are its actions, but they are not its essence. So your soul's actions are these 5 things, these inner senses that you have are the actions of your soul. Your imagination. Oops. Sorry about that. Your imagination, your thinking, your understanding and reasoning, your common sense, these things that you use to actually disseminate reality, information that's fed to you from reality. Okay. And this is what your soul is able to help do. Okay. The soul is related to your psyche, your mental. I say this a lot because this is what has been said throughout the ages. When we talk about the soul. The soul is created, it's related to your mind. It's related. It's not the mind, but it's related to your mind. Okay. So move forward. 4, raise it not too high that thou be not despised. Be not thou like unto those that fall by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of brutes, nor be thou like the horse and the mute, in whom there is no understanding. They don't understand. They do whatever they're told. At least a horse does. A mule's a little stubborn. Oops. All right. Number 5, verse 5. Search it by its faculties, know it by its virtues. They're more in number than the hairs of thy head. Stars of heaven are not to be counted with them. Think not with Arabia that the soul is parted among all men. Think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men. Neither believe thou that the sons of Egypt, that every man have many. Know that as thy heart so also thy soul is one. You don't have more than one soul. You only have one soul. It has many faculties, many layers to it, many levels to it, but it's still one. And know that there's not no grand divioso soul that we all share. No, everyone has an individual soul. Comes into it, into play at the time of, during your time of formation in the womb. Okay. A lot of Moors you're going to hear, for those who are new to this movement, you're going to hear a lot of Moors downplay Arabia, Islam, and they're going to use this verse 6, chapter 38 was what we're reading. And they're going to use verse 6. They're only going to quote the very first stanza. Think not with Arabia. Pardon the Bible. That's what they're going to tell you. Think not with Arabia, that one soul was parted among all men. They're not going to read that part. They're just going to read, think not with Arabia. Well, yeah, the prophet said, think not with Arabia, Mo. Yeah, but read the rest of it, Mo. That one soul was parted among all men. That's what that meant. Don't just give me think not with Arabia. Give me the rest of it. What did it say? Didn't it say he said the same thing about Egypt? Neither believe thou with the sons of Egypt. Did he say that? So people, I'm just guess a little side note in your Moorish journey. When you meet a lot of brothers and sisters on this Moorish journey who are Moorish American, they're going to say such things. 7, doth not the sun harden the clay? Doth it not also soften the wax? That is one sun that worketh both. Even so is one soul will of contraries. So there's many levels to it. The soul has many things that it does good and it can do bad. It depends on how we feed it. Okay. As the moon retaineth her nature, thou darkness spread itself before her face as a curtain. So the soul remaineth perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. It means that its components in itself, or what it is perfect. It's not diminished, even in a fool. For what it is in its essence, is still the same within a fool. It's just a fool doesn't know how to use it. A fool is not applying the soul. It's not attuned to its soul. A fool has a soul, but it's going off of other things. You go to the earlier verses where it talks about debase, the word debase. So it was a fool. Fool was most likely going off of is functioning from a debased point. Okay, verse 9. She is immortal. She is unchangeable. She's alike in all health. Calleth her forth to show her lowliness. Application anointeth her with oil of wisdom. The soul in itself is feminine. That's why when you speak of the soul, if you look at alchemy and pictures of alchemy, let me see. Islam, brother. Gratitude. When you think of alchemy, let's look at alchemy. Let's look at some alchemy pictures here. Okay, get some alchemy going. Alchemy art. Okay. Let's pull some stuff up here. I had a whole book on this stuff. I don't know what happened to it. I had a whole book of alchemy. This is elder brother. This elder, I'm gonna say he's an elder in Philly in the Reading Terminal Market. Oh, Solo, you would have loved this joint. I don't know, man. So, bro, I wish, man, I wish we were chilling back like maybe a few years ago, Mo. And the elder had this little corner bookstore in the I don't know if you ever been to the Reading Terminal Market, Mo, but he had this bookstore called Miscellaneous Books, and he had all these different type of books, man, esoteric books, everything, Mo. Man, you would have loved it, man. You would have loved you would have loved it, Mo. Oh man. Let me see what I'm looking for. If I'm maybe go back up here. But you would have loved that demonstration. You know, you would definitely love it. So the elder had this book, who owned the book, Miscellaneous Books, and his spot, the spot was actually like just a corner, man. It was like in a corner, and like you had to walk through the food court of the Reading Terminal Market, and you would see it, and it's like it's in the corner, tucked away, this little book area, and he had all these different books, man, like old books, people stuff that's handed to him, and he had a lot of stuff, man. Like you will find some gems. Like some books is like over 50, 60, maybe almost to 100 years old books, man. I got some stuff that I don't even open, you know. I got some books, you know, uh, that I try to preserve. So you look at these alchemy photos, and what I'm trying to get a grip of, what I'm trying to present to you, is a lot of times. Here we go. Here's a one. This is a book called Black Sun: Alchemy, Art, or Darkness. Okay. If you look at this photo, let's see if I can enlarge it. Enlarge the photo. Yeah, that's not a good enlargement. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Let's see. Let's see if I could. No, I ain't gonna do that. That's not what I did that before. All right. Well, if you look at this, you see the sun, right? The sun is usually is a symbolic of the soul. Okay. But also, it's a face of a woman. Usually, in dealing with the soul, it represents or is represented as a woman because it's dealing with the feminine principle. Your soul is feminine. Okay. It has a feminine, it operates off of feminine energy. Okay. It doesn't mean you're feminine. Saying that. We all have feminine energy. We all have masculine energy at certain degrees. Okay. Depending on our incarnation, what we are now. Okay. We all have that. So I'm trying to find a better picture of a woman. So, but in alchemy, they bring this out a lot, in a lot of their pictures dealing with a woman. or the feminine, or a soul as a feminine. So it's usually expressed as a woman. Here we go. So you look at this one. Prudentia warns the alchemist of the dangers of using fire. Okay, so the alchemist is the alchemist here. Prudentia is a feminine one. It's probably a representation of his soul. His soul warning him of using fire and his alchemical experiments. You know, the soul, you know, using common sense, using what we say, the five senses, you know, soul operating the five senses in you. You begin, you know, you hear that, hey, don't use this, you know, because of your common sense, because of your imaginative power or your reasoning sense, you know, begins to come into play, you know, as a vector or as a principle or property of your soul. All right. This is the artwork, they'll distinguishingly separate them in two different characters, but it's actually talking about one person in his property, and this woman being his soul. Well, they say Prudentia, you know, actually warning him of doing what he's not, you know, what he shouldn't be doing. So this is a good example. Let's get back to this here, the 912. Okay. So, I said, her and the fool. Okay, more bosom. Okay. 10. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. She was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Islam, listen to that. Islam, listen to that. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. Okay. So when they're speaking in this verse, it's speaking into your cardinal. It's trying to wake your cardinal sense. This verse is this chapter, when you're looking at this chapter, is really speaking to your cardinal nature to get you back focused on your soul. Okay. So in this verse 10, what it says talking about the soul, it's saying it's going to leave or it live after thee. It's talking about after your cardinal self, after your perception of who you think you are, it's going to live after that. Okay. And remember, go back to chapter 1. When it talks about after you're done with your flesh, and you shed this flesh, you want to go to the plane of soul to continue your work. Islam. It's in chapter 1. So what it says in this verse 10 here in chapter 38, it says she was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Here goes our stance when it comes to the abortion. Bingo. When the brain is formed, when the flesh is formed. So when you get a cell, when the nervous cell or whatever they begin to form, your brain begins to form inside your brain, inside your body. That's it. The soul was there. You're an animate, you're basically a full human, you're a human being. Because you have the potential of reasoning at that point. A baby can reason. It reasons all the time. I'm hungry. I'm gonna cry. All I know to do is yell and do this. And not all babies cry when they come out. Some of them actually observe it, looking like they're looking around. That's how my son was. Came looking around, he was looking. He was just looking. You know, that's how that's some babies are crying, but it's all part of their reasoning and their faculty. They cry when they're in the womb. That whole process is them developing into these human beings, into us. Okay. So when the flesh is formed and the brain is formed, the soul is already in place. You try to do abortion, you know, the best bet is you need to get it before all that happens. Before there's a brain development, neural activity, before there's flesh formed, you might just need to grab at the cellular level. If that's the bet, you know, and that's only if it's necessary. If it's predetermined, there'll be a situation, you know. Or some people, you know what your health is. You know, it's always a reason. Especially, you know, if you're able to, some people can't not determine. That is true. There are situations where you can't determine until certain trimesters. I mean, I'm using the wrong terminology. You know, when we get to a later trimester, you can't determine that there'll be health complications. You know, I do agree with that. You know, but for the most part, when you get this far in the development, you're already dealing with a live human being. You know, so to implement any procedure at this point, there has to be other options. We live in a fast-paced society where we want instant gratification. You might have to go through this situation. For a child to be born, stuff like that, it depending on the situation. Medical science, has done a lot, but it still lacks in a holistic approach. It's more of a instant fix, and it doesn't even last a long time. So a lot of things has to be considered. But the soul is according to what we read, comes in play to this. And then we're going to look, through the Quran, which was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does it say in the Orthodox Islam? In the greater Ummah, what is the determination regarding this matter? We talk about the soul. But let me continue. So I don't want to measures. So 11 says, justice could not give her to the exalted by virtue, nor mercy deliver her to the deformed by vices. These must be thine and thou must answer for them. So justice could not give her to thee, exalted by virtues. Justice could not give her to thee, exalted by virtues, nor mercy deliver her to thee, deformed by vices. These must be thine, and thou must answer for them. So your devices, situations you do, you can't blame it on your soul. Because your soul wasn't deformed by your vices. Your body was. Okay. And your willingness not protecting your soul, or you're not utilizing your soul to protect and perfect yourself, you end up succumbing to these things. You got to answer for whether you're delivering justly or not. You can't just say, well, the soul you gave me was corrupted. What are you talking about? Soul not corrupted, doesn't mean it's not corrupted. You just, this is what you gave it to. You got to answer for it. 12. Suppose not death can shield thee from examination. Think not corruption can hide thee from inquiry. He who formed thee, thou knowest not what. He cannot raise thee from the knowest not what again. He who formed thee, thou knowest not what. Can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? So he formed you from not knowing. And he can raise you from a state of not knowing again. You came in not having a foreknowledge of something. And if you lose your knowledge or you go into that state again, he can raise you again from it. Perceive not the cock of the hour of the midnight. Exalteth not his voice to tell thee it is morning. Knoweth not the dog the footsteps of his master. Flieth not the wounded goat unto the herd that healeth him. Yet when these die, their spirit returneth to the dust. Not alone survive. Envy not to these their senses, because quicker than thine own. Learn that the advantage lieth not in the possessing good things, but in the knowing to use them. Hast thou the ear of the stag, or were thy eyes as strong and piercing as the eagle's? Didst thou equal the hound in smell, or could the ape resign in thee his taste? Or could the tortoise her feeling? Yet without reason, what would they avail thee? Perish not all these like your kindred. Hath any one of them the gift of speech? Can any say unto thee, therefore did I do? The lips of the wise are as doors of a cabinet. No sooner are they open, but treasures are poured out before thee. Like unto the trees of gold arranged in beds of silver, or wise sentences uttered in due season. Canst thou think too greatly of thy soul, or can too much be said in his praise? It is the image of him who gave it. Remember thou its dignity forever. Forget not how great talent is committed to thy charge. Whatsoever may do good may also do harm. Beware that thou direct its course to virtue. Think not that thou canst lose her in a crowd. Suppose not thou canst bury her in a closet. Action is her delight, and she will not be withheld from it. Oops. Okay. Almost there. Her motion is perpetual. Her attempts are universal. Her agility is not to be suppressed. Is it at the uttermost part of the earth? She will have it. Is it beyond the regions of the stars? Yet will her eye discover it. Inquiry is her delight, as one who traverses the burning sands in search of water. So is a soul that thirsteth after knowledge. Guard her, for she is rash. Restrain her, for she is irregular. Correct her, for she is outrageous. More supple is than water, more flexible than wax, more yielding than air. Is there aught that can bind her? As a sword in the hand of a madman, even so is a soul to him who wanteth discretion. The end of her search is truth. Her means to discover it are reason and experience. But are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious? How then shall she attain unto it? General opinion is no proof of truth, for the generality of men are ignorant. Perception of thyself, the knowledge of him who created thee, the sense of worship that oweth unto him. Are not these plain before thy face? And behold, what is there more than men needed to know? Okay. And generally speaking, the rap, to sum up, what's being read is just saying that the soul has to be directed. Okay. The faculties, you direct it through the faculties and knowledge of the faculties. To study its faculties, right? Study its virtues. So you can hold to these principles and virtues because they're connected to the soul. The soul comes in as perfect. It's not damaged in the beginning. Okay, I have to recant certain stuff I said. I just realized it started coming to me. We were saying that your soul can be despised, or it was the same. Not despised. I used the wrong word. Your soul can be deformed. Your soul can be deformed by the vices, but that's not your soul's fault. It's still going to be answered to you. Remember they say honesty is to the soul? You have to make it an effort to be honest, to keep your soul pure, keep your soul healthy. Okay. What we're saying, summing up, we're saying that the soul has a thirst for knowledge. And we have to feed it. We have to help it quench it. And it'll help it develop in our favor. And it will reveal things to us. As I said before, as Bailey said in this video, as I said here amongst us today on Holy Day, soul will lead you to your answer. It's a valuable thing. It's nothing to really take for granted. Listen. And I said we'll talk about the portion, talk about what the greater Ummah thinks about abortion. Let's go back up. Yeah. All right. When we talk about that, speak of the soul, the verse 23, this is Surah Mukmin, Surah 23, and it's titled Mukmin, and it's ayat 12 through 14. This is one of my favorite ayats in the Quran because it explains Allah's will has been, Allah's will is involved in the intricate development of human beings. So when they say, Muslim and Muslim are two different things, Muslim is, flesh, muscle, all that, man, look, so is a Muslim. Read this. And you read this to anybody tell you that. They say, so are Muslims. Because it says here, and verily we created mankind from a quintessence of clay. Okay, the quintessence of clay. It's a fine essence. That's a specific essence. When it says quintessence, I'm messing up that word. Quintessence. Right? Quintessence actually translates, and I have it in one of my notes, into ether. And I gotta find my notebook where I was able to get that translation. And it really means ether. So he formed you out of the ether. Then we placed him in the play. Let's listen to this. We rarely created mankind from a quintessence of clay. Then we placed him in we placed him in a place of rest. You understand? It's talking about your etherical body. Then we placed you in a place of rest, firmly fixed into a uterine lining. Then we made the sperm egg into a clot of congealed blood. Then of that clot, we made an embryo lump. We made out of the embryo lump bones clothed the bones with flesh. Then finally, we developed out of it into a creature by breathing human soul into it. So your body, your etheric body is put in, okay? Then your etheric body works as a framework, as, who's this? Somebody coming late? Okay, so then your etheric body is like the framework, or it serves almost like the guided ever seen clay animation and how they put the clay they start off and they create the clay creations or the characters, and they start off with a wiring frame. They have a design, or better yet, even fashion design. When they're trying to create certain fashion, they need a frame to or maybe even a mannequin or something to clothe and form the clothing around, to make sure the size is right, the way it's going to fit, the way it's going to look. And that's the way that your etheric body, Allah in this verse is saying that the etheric body is the program. Just tell you how this thing is going to form, how it's going to look. And then once it's placed into one mother's womb, it begins, it's clothed with, the sperm cell. So actually the sperm cell happens, and now everything is beginning to form to the program of the etheric body to create he's only just dealing with the body now. He's only dealing with the body. Okay. Then later on in this ayat, or in these ayats, he says, we develop out of another creature by breathing a human soul into it. So you're just a body. And then when he says the bones clothe the flesh, right? This is what we said within verse 10, right? In chapter 38. It talks about flesh, bone. Once the brain and the flesh is formed, that's when the soul is there. And it's telling you right here, once the flesh, the bones and the flesh, then we breathe into the body. That's the soul. You see? And so the stipulation of this is dealing with abortion. Of course, you have hadith. Let's say 120 days, 120 days. It said, thus, when the age of fetus reaches about 120 days, 4 months, it no longer remains a pre-human living object, rather it becomes a living human being. At this point, all organ differentiation is almost completed. The child acquires the shape of a human body. More importantly, now the soul has entered the body. The fetus is truly human and may not be killed unless it becomes a danger to the mother. In case of premature births that survive, the soul enters just prior to the birth. So this is our stance. Basically, once it gets to that point where the flesh is formed and the brain is in there, that's it. Unless that child's a full danger to the mother being born, hey, this, it's not, yes, women should have the right to choose, but it has to be regulated because the ego is something else. You get, you have these women out here, and I'm telling you, they'll be getting 2-for-1 special. Like child, I got the abortion with the booty lift down at Dr. Miami. You know what I'm saying? They be out here getting it, you know what I mean? You get abortion with a tummy tuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like, that's how it was. It was like, mess around and get it like it's cosmetics. And the thing is, the European women were taking advantage of it so much. More than our women. Because still in our community, our women are not really big on abortion like that. We have the baby, we usually just tap it out. And the European, they're going to whisper in your ear and get abortion. It's usually them. They were getting their abortions. So to slow it up, like, hey, man, the birth rate is lower. It's not, our birth rate is low. We can't be allowing these women to get abortions. We need more babies. See, as we in our women, our sisters, they jump into these arguments. And it's like, yo, you need to fall back. It's really not your fight. It's really not your fight, technically. Just hold on, wait a minute. Be cool. See what's going on. Look at all the elements before you jump. They're so emotional. Not all sisters. I'm talking about those who are really into this, mad about Roe versus Wade being overturned. Like, they're really upset. And it's like, yo, relax. Understand what you're saying. Know the law. Know what what they're saying constitutionally. Why it was overturned. Because constitutionally it's not supported. I'm saying your individual state cannot support it. They can support it if they choose rightfully. That's the fight right now. What they're saying is, hey, we can't give you across the board. Deal with it from your state level. rightfully so. If it doesn't line up with anything, any part of the Constitution, then it can't stand to be protected federally. Okay, it's not. Who else is jumping in here? Oh, people getting kicked off. That's what happened. I'm sorry about that, y'all. We at 9:40. Let me stop the share. So, in this stance, you know, we have to have more responsibility in taking our souls a lot more, the concept of the soul more serious. Especially dealing with, the talks of Roe versus Wade and what's going on in relation to how we see this fight. The soul in itself is an intricate part where it's left out of the conversation because it's more based off of religion and theological beliefs, whereas secular science doesn't adhere to a soul or know anything of the soul. So under that text, that's the basis of a lot of these decisions. Under Islam, abortion is allowed under Islam. It's said if the woman's life is in jeopardy or is compromised through the pregnancy and to the point of birth, to the point of delivery. If there's a problem, then okay, then possibly abortion is option. And I think that has to be considered. Can't just say, you gotta regulate it, because then it just becomes it could become irresponsible when we don't consider the soul, whether it be abortion or anything else. To work those faculties, allow those properties to help us and discerning reality, reading, whether through reading, whether it just be living your life, going to work one day, maybe calling out one day, because it just ain't seem right now. Like, oh wait, I need not to go in. I remember one time I did that. It was on my heart heavy. Like, man, I was like, man, I called out. Man, I went in the next day. It was like, man, yesterday was crazy. It was too much stuff going on. I was like, man, I'm glad I called out. Yes, I'm glad I called out. I was a soul. Soul knew what I wanted. The soul was like, yo, man, call out. Like, call out. You know what going. And come to find out, it was worth not going in. Sometimes the soul will lead you and give you that earning, like that yearning. Like, I need to do, I need to get this. You wonder why certain things are on your mind, certain people are on your heart. So like, calm up. Deal with the issue before you get out of here. This is how, it basically goes. We have to be in tune to it. A lot of your Reiki energy, your healing energy comes from the soul. Your chakra energy is related to your soul. Soul chakras, it's all related. Multiple properties of the soul. The spirit stands with Allah. That's what's in you to keep, You have the spirit body, soul body, then the body of flesh. Soul body is the mediator between the flesh and the spirit. That's who Jesus represents. Jesus represents the soul. The story is the soul. Soul of God, soul of man, son of man. The son is the soul of man. Islam. So I think we come to the end. I have a few announcements. The convention is on its way. I believe the registration will be 135 registration. That's supposed to cover all meals. The rooms, I think they're still negotiating the room rate, but it's going to be at Holiday Inn Suites near Midway in Chicago. So that's the Holiday Inn Suites. That's where we're going to have it at. They got the best rate. So they're just trying to negotiate because they're probably going to sign in a 2-year deal where it's going to be for the next. We're going to rock out with them for the next 2 years. We also were talking about limiting we're talking about limiting the missions. Those who want to have a mission, you're going to have to, it's probably going to be a 2-year wait period before you get a mission. It means you're going to, we're working it out, but we're going to have to tighten up on the missions because a lot of times, even though they're given and the missions are supposed to be interim, but we want to make sure that missions are you're willing to have one, you're willing to be trusted with one, because some people get a mission and get happy and jump off the porch. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be trying to follow your mission with the state, and you ain't supposed to be doing that. Follow your mission with the state. You don't follow your mission at all. You get a mission, it's just that's what it is. It doesn't need to be filed because it's only interim. It doesn't stay. You don't stay in mission. Okay, so we got to make sure that that we tighten up on that because certain people have gotten things and they've done other things they weren't supposed to do, and we had to clip it. So being that said, just those who, because I know my goal for Mission 28 is to be the spearheaded to help each and every one of those interested in certain regions, certain areas of the tri-state to start their mission to become a temple. Okay, so areas I focus on, of course, Jersey, mainly two parts of Jersey, North and South Jersey. Okay, and then Philly and New York. Okay. If you can gather yourself within your physical location, at least 2 to 3 people that are thorough, they're not going to bring you down, they're not going to be extra weight, but actually going to hold their own weight, carry their own weight, and be assistance to you. You know, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I can say, okay, yeah, they're ready to be one. Okay. At the convention, there's going to be a lot of trainings. There's going to be a lot of trainings for those who are already sheiks and officers, but I'm also requesting that regular members attend the trainings. I didn't get feedback. I didn't get anything back from yet, but I'm requesting that. So if we have potential people we feel that could take this thing to the next level, or could, you know, be leaders, you know, they can receive certain training in certain things. Like I'm doing, I asked for one trainer asked for how to conduct a meeting, Holy Day meeting on your services. So we just go over, you know, hopefully we'll touch on that and be something we can run through for those who are interested in how to conduct a meeting, how to conduct the service, what to look for in your, you know, how to basically, you know, open and close and those type of things. Okay. You know, anything that's essential for particular parts of leadership, you know, I think certain members should be open to that, you know, and only members that we see potentially becoming leaders in the movement. You know, not everybody got to attend, you know what I mean? And that'll be some, you know, I'll talk to them and say, you know, leave it up to the sheik or the governor to sign those members up. Okay. So not everybody's going to be signed up for, you know. But we'll have probably to have that discussion. All right. The next thing is Mission 28 is going to possibly get elevated to branch something 28. Okay. I requested it only really because of financially, and I think I praise a lot for Brother Yah and others. The itinerary, Brother Abdullah has not actually, as far as the detail what days everything's going to be on, most likely it's going to be during both the week and the weekend. But what there is mindfully, they're trying to make it where we handle some business and we're not always that they're going to try to leave some space and room for other activities that we can do fellowship wise. Like Supreme Grand Sheik definitely wants us to fellowship together. He wants to do something collectively together, go out, see the city, and that's fine. If you can come on a weekend, that's fine. And we can possibly, you know, yeah, because I think school starts. So if you can get out there, you know, during that time, that's fine. Yeah, brother, it's yeah. It's at Midway. You're gonna have it's called Holiday Inn Suites, Midway, Chicago. So this, if you look it up, that's the address. It's the Holiday Inn in Chicago. If you see the word Midway, that means it's near the Midway Airport. That's close to in town, Chicago. But the dates is always the same, brother. It's the 15th through the 20th every year, September. 15th to the 20th. It never changes. Okay, so that's how the dates is. Registration right now, I know, is 135 registration. 135 registration. Okay. The hotel rooms, I'm not sure because they're still negotiating to see if they can get a lesser. lesser rate on the hotel rooms. Okay, because they still trying to lock it. They're gonna, like I said, they're possibly locking in a 2-year deal with these guys. You know, where it's gonna be there for the next 2 years. Okay, inshallah. Now, so the branch simple, I say, Brother Yah, yeah, praise Allah, Brother Yah, Abdullah, even Brother Will, and other those who are concerned about the financial part of the movement and just us utilizing finances and stuff like that. In order to get that, it'd be good to have the branch temple, because then we'll have access to PayPal and all that type of stuff. So Solo, he's not on here, but I need to talk to him. Probably I'll holler out tomorrow, because it's something me and him will have to do, something to put that together. And something we gotta sign. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much be our elevation at convention, inshallah. I think a majority of y'all want to go. I know Brother Will, Shikana said they wanted to go. I know Brother Yah said he wanted to go. Abdullah, you said you could probably do the weekend. Soul, I don't know if you're gonna be able to go again. Sister, well, I know you say you probably worked at Sister Sophia. Let's see if others are still want to go. I know Sister Pacola says she wanted to go. Okay. But let's try to start right now. Really start homing in on a method how to get there. Whether it be flying, look like driving might be the option. Driving might be the option. So, we had double up with somebody whip. A couple people got whips, you know what I'm saying, that they they don't mind driving across the country. In Chicago, let me know. You know what I'm saying? We gonna, hope everybody get they license instrument updated. You know what I'm saying? They get it renewed, whatever. You got no situations going on. And have open mind, trust people with your precious land conveyances. You know what I'm saying? Trust other people, they can navigate it too. So they won't be trying to do, I don't want nobody trying to do the whole ride by themselves, You're trying to set off no Guinness records here. Just, we trying to get there and get back safe. So yeah, so it looks like it might be driving the most most feasible, unless somebody got some real, deal on tickets, because even a flight to Chicago is a trip. You know what I'm saying? They'll charge you, crazy amount just to go to Chicago. Chicago's just expensive, period, man, just to go to get there and get back. That's probably the most expensive trip you'll take just to get to. But inshallah, alhamdulillah, Allah willing, we'll all be able to, meet up in Chicago. Y'all get a chance to, experience the other brothers and sisters in the movement. Okay. Moving along, 23rd is still on. I gotta call the lady. I'm gonna try to call her tomorrow and put out arrangement for food. Remember, 6 o'clock, 23rd, Layla's Cafe. I'm gonna make a flyer and post it up in our group. Yeah. What everybody's saying. What was that? Yeah. Islam, brother. Yeah, you had your hand raised.
Islamism.
Islamo.
All right. One of the questions I have is, I believe one of the temple meetings you suggest. Well, we had a couple suggestions. We was throwing them out there, but what was the deal with one of the brothers that either have a hookup with the flights or what flight line is that? Do you have any idea what that was again? And we was also
United
looking
Airlines.
into the sprinters as well. You say United?
I think it was United. Brother Will, your brother works for United.
Islam. Yeah, it was United.
Okay.
He hasn't really gotten back to me in regards of group rates or any of that nature. So I don't have any real answers for you at this time.
Okay, that's fine.
Islamism. I just while we was talking, when I looked online for the round trip for that, it came up to 148. So that's like 70. What's that? $74 Google flight.
Through what airline?
Normally, when you're on Google Flights, they give you a rate of different airlines. That's how I normally fly anyway. So
you
give you a
airline?
brief. Yeah, it'll give you a brief breakdown. Well, now that I got stocks in JetBlue, I should start flying JetBlue. I should start flying JetBlue. But yeah, that's how I look at it through Google Flights.
Wait a minute. You got stocks in JetBlue?
Yeah, I do. Isn't
that the old value jet?
Well, I know that one of the reasons why I tried to throw some stocks, I got like 2 in it. I was looking at them. They was trying to acquire Spirit Airline. I don't know if Frontier got them back or not.
Wait a minute. Spirit is the old value jet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They inherited the same madness. So.
I think it was Frontier. Frontier got Spirit right now, but I think JetBlue was trying to buy them. So anyway, with all that being said, though,
yeah,
I'm just looking at just trying to put all the numbers together because I'm gonna try to get the registration taken care of immediately. Then I'm gonna make sure I get everything covered on the workforce front, and then we can work on the rates for the particular hotels. But as soon as you get that information, I will let them know that immediately.
Yeah, I'll get that's very important. Brother Abdul says Spirit is the absolute worst. Oh man, tell me, preach it to the choir, bro. Trust me, I've been on Spirit plenty of times. Oh man. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my ear open to what the Sisters Auxiliary has decided, and what they're gonna communicate to us with what's been worked out. So I'm gonna find out, and I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm gonna negotiate also with course of the 23rd about the food. Most likely it's going to serve on tray, like we'll serve trays of food. Probably, what we order might be sold at $60 a tray. I'm gonna try to see what I can cover on my own, and I'll see what I'll let you guys know. I'm gonna try to put a flyer out by tomorrow or Sunday, so you guys have something to to have, click, share, and hold on as a reminder. So for the event 23rd in Beverly, New Jersey, Layla's Cafe, owned by Asiatics. A lot of the Asiatic young people in the Burlington County area are doing a lot of big things. And they're young, and it's very encouraging, because the times before in our grow up in the area, man, you usually just graduate and that's it, man. You may go to college and you just settle. You know, you ain't got nothing else going on in your life. You know, but now all of a sudden, you know, our young people, people around my age, you know, in 40s and late 30s, they're still young, but they're still trying to make their mark. They're still making a mark in the community, you know. You know, they open up businesses, they're doing different things, they're trying to do things. A lot of them have done that. You know, people who've young brothers who actually spent time behind, you know, behind the bars, behind, you know, in prison, have came out instead of doing the same stuff that got them locked up. They're trying to do something positive, you know. So, you know, I'm always into supporting the people, supporting our, you know, our Asiatic people, you know, doing positive things. So latest cafe is an example, prime example. It's been there for like a year, few years, I think like 2 years, like maybe, yeah, like 2 years, 2, 3 years. I think 2 years. It's a positive example of, you know, of Asiatics making things work. Because they could open something else. They could open, you know what I'm saying, cheesesteak joint. You know what I'm saying? Instead, they didn't. They opened up a vegan restaurant. Sister was inspired by a Sadie, kind of, or just the whole health movement thing. And she started experimenting with, you know, food and stuff like that, vegan food. And eventually it became a restaurant. So now she got a restaurant in Beverly. One of State Senator Troy Singleton Bennett was there. He came to visit. Hopefully, they can get Cory Booker up in there. More, you know, more people they get up in there. You know, more. I don't know if JL Jupiter been up in there yet. I think I told him to go up in there. So hopefully, JL Jupiter will go up in there and do a portion. So I tell you, if you got an eatery going on in JL Jupiter, get up in there, you official. So you do a little expose on your joint, you official. That means your food legit. And he a foodie dude. So, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we're gonna try to hook that up. What else? What else? Sister Shakana, I'm try to get with you on that whole museum thing. Um, I guess we gotta call up there and see what the rates are for tours for Metro. Sister Shakana had an idea to do a tour at the Metro Museum in New York. Um, you know, open it up for the children. You know, so they can learn history and stuff like that. I'm gonna make it. I want to open it up to, you know, a larger audience possibly if they can, if they want to come and participate. But it'll be a good experience if we put something like that together. I want to also do, you know, that'll be a good thing is we work that out. We can try other places as well, you know, to do these tours at different museums. I want to do the Masonic Museum too, down in Philly. Let me see if I can get that going. But I got some information I got to actually study up on, and because most likely, you know, I'm going to try to give a brief explanation, you know, about the Masonic information regarding the overview of it, not nothing detailed, but the overview of it and its relation philosophically in its relation to more science and you know, our original sciences and stuff like that, you know. And so that's going to take time to actually pinpoint certain things. I know it's been done before, so I don't want to be redundant, you know. But that's something I would aim for, you know. But since I guess we're gonna have to call a Metro, look at their rates. Probably Tuesday because Monday everybody's closed for the 4th. So, what else? Anything else? Oh, I'm going to ask brother Moriel Smithfield to be a guest on one of our calls, one of our meetings, to be the Holy Day, and I want him to present his voters block national ballot campaign, because he presented it to a state senator a few weeks back. He had a meeting, he had him on, presented it. So I want to actually have him talk about that, what needed to be done, and I want everybody there so you guys can take notes, man, because he's really working a plan. You know, Moriel Smithfield is putting his brain to work, and he's working. You know, he's young. Like I say, he's only 25, but he has the vision, and he's trying to really live this Moorish American life. You know, so he's encouraging, man. Definitely, when you see his brother, he's very encouraging. It's encouraging, brother. So, but that's to say, man, that's it. So, move to close. Read the warnings. Hey, if anybody has the Moorish literature, especially this new edition that was issued, man, you know, take time to read it, go over it, you know, ask questions about it, you know. Hey, brother, you know, Sheik, what's this, what's that? You know, I've read this and this, and mind breaking this down about this and that, you know, because these are the words of the prophet. This is not hearsay. This is not, yeah, he's on Moriel Smithfield. He's on social. Matter of fact, what's the name? They're under his mission. They joined his mission, Mo. He's out in he's in Colorado. So yeah, just take time to read your Moorish literature. Ask questions. Ask questions about court cases. Ask questions about, you know, because a lot of this is stuff that nobody has in their records. We put it in the book, you know. So it's a lot of stuff that, you know, people talk about, you know, but they don't have evidence on, but we have it here. You know, it talks about, you know, Lomax leaving, you know, Lomax Bay, him being demoted. It's heavy. You know, we got the court case between Milieu and Kirkman Bay here. You know, it's in it. You know, we have the letter by Wendell E. Green, who says that Emilia won this case. So, you know, you got a lot of stuff here. You got the words of the prophet, you know, him and what he typed. David Bailey always said that he trusted the literature more than he trusted the oral statement. He said, I'd rather go with what he actually typed than what so-and-so said, or this one said that he heard the prophet say, and all that. He said, you know, go with what he actually typed, you know. So All right, the reading of the warnings. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets, for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans, causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the law laid down to them by the prophet. And if they lose confidence in the prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. Well, this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials of the nations and the nations of the earth, that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens. They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is to the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, the prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance. Never before, I need finance. I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being had. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Over to God. To the members of the Moorish Science of America, to be read in every meeting. Islam. This is the instruction from the old prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says the Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many eyes to see, but cannot see. Ears to hear, but cannot hear. These things will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours nowadays, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah, the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, or sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. The enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. I'm going to end with the prophet's prayer. 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left. Face the east. Allah bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine created principles, as we ask in our holy name. In the 7 of you. Amen.